Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Izhar Bin Nordin. My metric number is 1180170. Okay, today I would like to make a summary regarding about chapter 2 and chapter 3 of Principle of Journalism. Okay, so let's start with chapter 2 first. In chapter 2, there are several main points of Principle of Journalism. The first one is accurate. As we know that when we want to write a story, we must write the story accurate and truth for the readers to know what happens. So how we want to write a accurate and true story? The first one is we can have a several point of view regarding the story. For example, in cases, we can ask the victims, maybe police or others. Okay. The second is uh, we also need credible sources, so we can ensure that our story is true. And the next is we cannot have a stereotype or bias when we write a story. If we have these two, it will make our story is less credible. The second principle of journalism in this book is independence. Independence here means we must maintain our independence when we cover a story about certain people. For example, when we cover story about a politicians, we need to write the truth about the story, and we must avoid bias and stereotype. The next is when people want give us a special treatment or favor to write their story, we must refuse because it can affect to the readers. And the third principle of journalism is humanity. Here, as we know that we write about people, right? So we must know that they have their image and we have our image. So they are still human even though they make a wrongdoings. But we cannot across the border when we write about people, especially regarding a negative things. In chapter 3, there are several studies that talk about Islam and journalism ethics. One one of it is Islamic Theory of Communication by Maulana 2007, Islamic and Journalism by Steele 2011, and others. In Maulana 2007, it said that Islam consists five fundamental principles of communication ethics for such a network of Muslim journalists. The first one is Tauhid, the second is Amar Ma'ruf Nahi Munkar, the third one is Ummah, the fourth one is Taqwa, and the fifth one is Amanat. And if someone want to talk about a news or story, they must consist five all of this. If they are opposite of the power of Allah and others, it must be void about it. In Steele 2011, the result shows that it rejects the Islamic theory of journalism. The reason is most of the journalists in Indonesia and Malaysia do not work overtly in Islamic publication. And the goal for the journalism is to reach for goodness. And there are four basic elements of journalism that used by Malaysian and Indonesian journalists. The first one is truth. The second one is balance. The third one is fairness, and lastly is independence from power. In Siddiqui 2012, they attempt to develop an Islamic perspective of mass media ethics by focusing on moral guidance in Al-Quran and tradition of Prophet Muhammad, which is the Sunnah. In Muqtah et al. 2017, they discovered that there are four principles of Islamic journalism from literature review. The first one is truth and truth telling, which is Siddiq and Haq. The second one is pedagogy, which is Tabligh. The third one is seeking the best for public interest, which is Maslahah. And the last one is moderation, which is wasatiyah. That's all from me that I can conclude from chapter 2 and chapter 3. Thank you.